Stop. Do you need to spend a lot of money to get the performance that you need? Today, that is exactly what we're talking about on the Everyday Golfer. I have here an 11 hybrid. We know in recent weeks we've been testing those with mid-handicap Dave, and they've been coming in around about 80 to 85 pounds depending what shafts you have in there. On the floor I have a Stealth 2 HD, and we're going to show you the differences in price and show you how they perform different. We're going to go through everything. Do they look better? Do they perform better? Do they feel better? Or do they feel exactly the same? So first up, I'm going to hit this 11 4 hybrid. So again, KBS shafts, a nice gloss finish to the head. We can see on the face we have got the markings to get the ball in the centre of the face. We know that that was something that Dave really enjoyed. But how do they feel and how do they perform? So they feel fantastic, they sound great, and that's performed exactly as I would expect. That's just on the front left of the green, a little bit towy, so it did draw exactly what I would expect. But here we have the Stealth 2 HD. So again, the most forgiving on the range, and that's what we're trying to do here, is compare forgiving and forgiving. This is probably the range that most of you golfers, everyday golfers, are going to look at. Unless you are a single figure handicap golfer, you're going for something that's a little less forgiving but looks a little bit sleeker, and that depends on what you want from your golf club. Do you want it to look a little bit sleeker, or do you want it just to perform? Again, the HD range, you can certainly get different shafts in these. This is a 4-iron hybrid, 23 degrees. So if we quickly talk, obviously, differences in loft, that hybrid from 11 is 21 degrees, so 2 degrees stronger. So we might see this one come up a little bit short, or will we see with the technology it comes off just as fast and it will reach? Looks down at it, pretty much identical. Again, a gloss finish on the top. Here we've got the two-tone finish at the front. Again, a little bit duller, so there's a little bit of difference on those heads. Premium shaft, Fujikura shaft in this. Let's see how it performs and feels. Again, that's a great example there. Not a perfect strike, moved back a little bit there, and might have just got on the front fringe depending what it's done here. But very interesting with the forgiveness there. That's not a great golf shot. That's what we all hit, unfortunately, at times. But we'll see if it's reached the green or not. One big thing I noticed there was how shallow the Stealth 2 is in comparison to this 11. So a little bit chunkier there. Is that going to give you confidence behind the ball? Well, let's get it in the hands of an everyday golfer and let's see what he thinks and which one would he be favouring. Up here at the green now, we can see the 11 hybrid just reached, or just on the fringe there, but very interesting here. Is this what we are paying the difference for? Is this what we're paying £150 more for? A terrible strike for myself, but a lot of forgiveness. Still got up here exactly the same. Yes, it is just in the rough, but it's not 20 yards short, and that's something that you need to consider when you're going for these kind of clubs. When you're testing, front to back dispersion is very, very important. So for me, this is one big thing we always talk about with newer clubs and more expensive clubs. They've certainly gone a little bit shallow with the face. So not as much depth here. So again, the ball normally sits high above the face, and for a lot of people they start to feel like they have to hit up on these. But in comes Dave with his 11 hybrid first. Again, Dave, you've bought these, obviously, £85 with graphite shafts. You've certainly enjoyed them.
I certainly have, Chris.
But what was the reason why you went for those over the Stealth HD and Paradigms? And you obviously tried them all.
I did. I couldn't find much difference between the performance of them, if I'm honest, Chris.
Yeah.
I like the look of them. I don't mind that chunky look. I know you don't really agree with hitting them out of rough and semi-rough too much, but I found that with them being so chunky, I can get them out with them. Right. So partly that, and obviously good old price.
Good old price as a Yorkshireman. So yes, guys, it's something that you need to think about. Performance is obviously massive. Again, it all depends on your budget. This Stealth HD hybrid is so easy to hit. It's a fantastic hybrid. It is going to perform just as good, if not better, than these 11s. But is it obviously the way it looks behind the golf ball? Does it look a little bit too shallow to you, or does it look perfect? If it looks perfect, well, worth the investment. That's exactly the kind of shots Dave's been hitting with his 4 rescue. A little bit on the left-hand side.
Yeah, but that's just me. I didn't close my my shoulders as much as I should have done, Chris.
Let's go now into the Stealth 2 HD. First of all, Dave, when you obviously put this down, looks-wise, what are you thinking straight away? Do you think it looks much different? Does it look £150 different?
The look of it is different. It seems to have, I don't know if that's called a speed pocket at the front or whatever.
Yeah.
So there is a different look to the top of the
There's
club.
a little bit of matte at the front. It's
a little bit of matte, so there's a bit of a difference between the front and the back of the head.
Yeah.
It's a nice looking club, don't get me wrong, but it still looks a little bit close to me, which I've always got that slightly left shot.
We'll
So
say slightly
that,
left.
yeah, let's say
With a
slightly.
pinch of salt.
So that always puts that into my head even more, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so interesting, guys. When you want to go and get these clubs, you need to make sure you go and get fitted. All of these clubs are here, so TaylorMade, Callaway, Titleist, Mizuno, all here at Waterfront. If you do want a fitting, then do give us a call on the number below. Kyle is our specialist fitter. But you need to look how they sit behind the golf ball, because if it looks close, it might be something that puts you off and doesn't give you confidence.
Having said that, I think that's lovely.
But Dave has absolutely ripped that one down the middle. So it'll be very interesting there, because he's hit them both perfect. He's hit them both out of the middle, two totally different ball flights. Let's go and look at the,
Chris.
Yeah, let's go and look at the distance before I hit them into the green. So we've come up to the 11 first. I'm going to keep walking. A long way. We can see that the TaylorMade is all the way up here. Yes, Dave hit them both out of the middle. This one launched and landed in the fairway, not in the rough, but that is probably 40 yards further. So very interesting there to say the Stealth 2 is a little bit weaker loft. With the technology, has that got that extra distance? I'm going to see now when we hit into this par 5 green, how do they launch? Can we get them to land soft? Which one goes further? So now let's see how they perform into a green, because the Hybrid's not a club that I've had in my bag as such. It's something that I didn't always like the look of, but these two have certainly improved that. I certainly do like the look of them. They do seem to be a little bit more rounded. They do seem to suit my eye a little bit better now. But it's now about, obviously, this club launching high and landing soft into a par 5. This is potentially where you might be using it. You might be using it on a par 3 that is long, over 200 yards. I've got 220 yards in here, so this should be the perfect club. Obviously, with the different lofts on there, with 2 degrees difference, how's that going to change my distance control? So that is the easiest club I've probably ever hit. Extremely easy, landed in the middle of the green there and just ran to the back. So probably gone around about 240. As you can see, that was straight out of the middle, but I really felt like I didn't have to put much of a swing on that at all. I didn't have to try and help it up, and that's exactly what these clubs are designed to do. That is the HD version of the Stealth 2. That's exactly what you're expecting. You're expecting a high launch, but you need to make it effortless. You see that I didn't even have to try. The club did the work, and that's what I find with a lot of people who get hybrids. You're already trying to help them up. You wouldn't try and help a 4-iron up, so why are you trying to do it with this when it's already designed to do that with everything with the technology in them? Straight away here, yes, maybe after you've used the Stealth 2, this does look a little bit more budget, obviously with not the two-tone finish on the top, without the matte finish at the front that does separate it nicely. Again, you can see the lines on the face here. That's something, again, that is personal preference, whereas it's a little bit more blacked out on the TaylorMade, but it's all down to performance for me. Is this as easy to launch, and will this go long because it's a little bit stronger? Straight away, a much more powerful ball flight, probably half the height there, but landing the same. And yes, that's ran through the bite, but that's pretty much what I expected from there. But very interesting there. Yes, £85 in comparison to £240, but certainly different performance there for me. Much easier to launch. Yes, it is a little bit weaker loft, so you'd expect that. That has performed exceptionally well. For the price, I wouldn't be disappointed. Obviously, you would then just have to counter in. Can you get it to launch higher? Do you need something else like a 7 wood and from a premium brand to get that launch? That's what you've really got to think about. Numbers are great, doesn't always get the landing angle. Certainly with the Stealth 2 HD, you are going to get the landing angle, you're going to get the distance, you're going to get the control, and that's what you need to take into account. Which is going to perform better for you? How does it sit behind the ball? And is it going to lower your scores?